Thanks for staying with us. So Fridays, we like to discuss celebrity information and happenings. So today we'll be referring to something that happened in the U.S. So about character defamation. This relationship that's ongoing between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard as a case study. So recently, the jury in the U.S. found both Johnny Depp and Amber Heard liable for defamation against each other in a recent verdict. Depp was awarded $15 million in damages after it was proven that Heard defamed him when she described herself as a victim of domestic violence, which almost destroyed Johnny Depp's career. Now, what's the best treatment that one or the sides can give to a proven defamer? And this was interesting because we've seen quite a number of stories, even within our own shows, where people come out to say, he or she defamed me, or this person beat me up, and then later we find out it was false. A woman claims that she was abused by her spouse and, makes a big hullabaloo about the whole thing. And after investigations, they found that she was actually the one beating up the husband. So these are real-life issues that are happening. But because of our culture and who we are as a people, we choose to sweep it under the carpet when it comes to these kind of issues. What are your thoughts on this? Can we take learnings from this experience, from this case study, and see what we can do to ensure that those who go out to defame others indeed are sanctioned for what they do, and the victims are therefore compensated? Call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet us at TVC and please hashtag YourView TVC so we can read your tweets. Okay, so let's just touch on this because we always like these references. What are your thoughts on this, BT?
Okay, I know that hurts people hurts. That means when you've been hurt, you will definitely hurt another person because that's all you know. Broken people break others. And we see that in the society. Now, the most painful of them is when a broken person meets another broken person. They will break not just themselves, but the society. And that's how I just see the case of these two people. Because I was reading a lot about them, and I realized that, while they were talking about their cases from time, both of them were abused. They were, from abusive homes. And it seemed to me like they were both lying to each other and lying about what really happened. I would not exonerate anybody because the court has said you win this case. There's also another case that's pending that the other lady might actually win. So what I see there is the abuse was, they were toxic for each other. The abuse was going on for quite a while. I think the marriage was just about 1 year. And then because they were both broken, it was easy to come out and lie against each other for whatever reason, whether it's money you're looking for, you want to bring down another person's career, because I do not understand why love goes wrong and you cannot pack your bags quietly and just move on. You want to bring somebody down.
Yeah, but when the person is rich...
coming from a deep, leave richness, so it's coming from a deep-rooted hate of oneself. And the fact that I will deal with you for not giving me what I want or not taking me to the place I expected we will get to. When we are picking spouses and, what's it called? Partners in relationships, we need to start thinking of looking beyond that person. There's something we do in Nigeria. You ask questions about this person's family. What are they known for? Who are they? This person's mother, this person's father. I think we need to start getting back to that point. Because there are few people who have come from those broken homes and those broken, damaged places, and they are they're just a few percentage of them. So we need to be very careful in this. But like they say, bearing false witness is something that we need to start talking to ourselves about.
And criminalizing properly. All right, so what are your thoughts on this, especially because he had a career. He was rich. He had money. So if you defame, he can actually be sued. There's some people that don't have anything. If you like, so they say, you will not get anything. So when it comes to defamation, is it because there was something to gain that somebody can take that route?
Okay, so sometimes it's not about whether the person has money or not before the person seeks redress. It just might be, the damage to character goes deeper than money. For Johnny Depp, yes, he was a public figure, an actor, and it could affect his career. So let's leave money aside. And if it, because of her careless. What I see here is a lot of careless statements. So she also got $2 million against his lawyer for going and releasing a press briefing where he called her out, called her some defamative names as well. And so it's not about that. It's what it goes to the core of the source of that person's career and affects it, and he loses something because of it. Of course, the person gets redress. And even if you are broke, they will still enter your ancestors' property and, you know, get you that redress. I think the entire lesson about this is careless talk. So both of them were married and things happened emotionally, just as BC said, between the two couples, something's fly everywhere. And so careless statements continue to be made, whether or not it affected the person, or maybe in the interest to deeply injure or harm the person. Just, you know, say things that you will hurt, and then you go out and say it to press. So if you are fighting, you're saying to each other, there's no publication. When you address press, you take it further, and so then it becomes actionable.
So a lot has been said already, and for me, it's sad to be at the receiving end of somebody just lying against you, you know, and you having nothing to do. In the case of Johhny Depp, he had goodwill, money to try the case, but there are many cases of people who spent years in prison before the lady just came out and said, okay, I lied about this thing. Somebody's entire life, 15 years, I saw a case, 15 years gone, and you just, because you're feeling bitter, many heartbroken women do this. Out of that, you broke my heart, I'm going to do something, I must do something against you. When we take actions from that place of deep hurt, I've heard cases as a young girl where women will say they strip themselves naked and they will curse, they will swear and curse the man because the man did. Life is more than this momentary emotional charged, and I know that we feel emotionally charged. In Nigeria, it rarely gets to the point where you get to court or the defamation because people don't even... But, you know, in the Western world, once a woman says, they touched me, oh, everybody will just shout, we support the woman, we believe the woman. And so what we need to realize is when you cry foul, you spoil the opportunities for other people who have legitimate claims, because you now start questioning, is she one of those crying foul as well? Is she one of those that she's just being bitter? That's why she's coming out to say this. And we ought to understand that we carry responsibility of many other precedents that we would have set. This right now has set precedents of questioning a case they hear to be sure if it is true or not. That's on one side. Another side is we must learn not to act when we are broken. Give it time. The things that she said were strong. It was emotional. Even the ones that the lawyer Depp's lawyer said that got the 2 million case, emotional. When we speak out of emotion, we tend to say things that we shouldn't be saying. When we tend to say things we later regret. And this is a huge lesson for many people married because you have things tying you together. This ones don't even have like a trip. But in Nigeria, most of them, we have children and things tying us together.
That was one of the reasons I wanted to take this story because we often see the stories where it's the man, you know, that says against. But this time, the woman is... I'm talking about the compensation, that he actually got compensation for the fact that his wife falsely claims it against him. So this is an interesting conversation because it will help us understand that both ways, it can swing both ways. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a few calls and tweets on this. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So many are saying this is victory for men, especially because many women out there claim that their men are being abusive, when in actual fact, they are the abusers. And we've seen a situation where a man, I remember a story particularly, where the man was a pastor, and his wife used to beat him a lot. And she accused him of so many things. He was disgraced out of church. He didn't want to put up a fight because he felt that she had bipolar and she had issues. So he didn't want to make it an issue. But he allowed her to defame him and said a lot of things about him. He left the church, separated from the wife. About 7 or 8 years later, after the woman got healed and went for rehabilitation, she came back. She then came back to the church to confess and apologize that she cooked up all the story.
Wow.
Now, at the point of confessing that she cooked up the story, the woman was taken back to the church. but her husband was willing to take her back. However, the family was against her coming back. Said that for somebody who has done this much, you know, there's no way. Now, he stayed with the children because she had left. You know, he had kept this.
He raised the children.
In that situation, he was willing to take her back, but family wasn't willing to have her. I'm not even sure if they're together today. I'm not even sure of the story.
It'd be difficult.
But then, because he was trying to get his wife back, and I don't know what happened if the family allowed it. But the point is, in a situation whereby a man or somebody has been defamed, publicly disgraced, how do you retrace your steps? Do we go to the courts in Nigeria where we should? Or how do we handle it when family, the church, religion is involved?
So when it comes to abuse, it's always very difficult to judge because abusers have mastered the art of playing victims. So they are the abusers, but they know how to turn the matter on your head, and people who are judging from outside will suddenly start seeing the person who is abused as the perpetrator. They can switch up on you. There are different personality disorders that enable this. We have the narcissists. Those ones can switch on you in a split second. And the way they do it in such a way that people around you will not have noticed the abuse you're going through. So it's easy for them to quickly say that this person is the one that is dealing with me, is the one that is suffering me. Meanwhile, they are the ones abusing. When it comes to small issues, regular family, like what you just mentioned now, it's even easier to forgive and accept. Well, it's just maybe church members that know about it. It's just a few of my workers that know about it. But when it comes to people who are in the limelight, celebrities, when this sort of case breaks, you see brands taking away their endorsements.
Yeah.
I don't want this person anymore. This person
more movies.
Yeah, no more movies, no more gigs, nothing. And the person begins to crash. The finances where they are, making a living, everything begins to reduce because of the lies you have said and you have, given to the public. At such point, it becomes very difficult to let go. Because even when the person comes back later, those brands you've lost may never come back. There's already a scandal with this person and they will not want to be associated. So the person is losing on both ends. I don't know how to begin to preach. Do you now forgive? Do you now accept when you have lost almost everything? And the only thing people can, when this sort of thing happens and the person comes back to say, I lied, I'm sorry, we don't have that clout. Yeah. You don't see people carrying placards. Let her apologize. No noise. It will just die.
Let me quickly take this out from South Africa. Ben, are you there? Hello, good morning, Ben. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I just want to talk about the information of character. I think this issue has put a lot of innocent men behind bars. Sometimes you see a lot of ladies who, because they cannot be able to have their way, they just go and make up some stories to get at the man. And it's quite unfortunate. There are a lot of instances here that a lot of men have spent years in the prison coming out to be innocent. But I think the judgment would be an eye-opener and help a lot of women to rethink and redress their thoughts. Just my little contribution this month. Thank you, and you guys have been very well.
Thank you very much.
Please, I want to talk about, Nima. I want to talk about the idea of being the bigger person, because I've always said on this platform, take the higher road, don't fight dirty, if this person is out to attack you, don't get in the rings with them and get all murky and say we are throwing jabs to each other. The more mature space is to step out of that sin. But when it comes to defamation, I wonder if it is the right approach. And I wonder because, like the story you shared, this person decided to take the shame because they don't want to create mess, a lot of mess on social media and everywhere for their children. Somebody decided that I don't mind you calling me funny names because I don't want my children know the truth and I don't want them to grow up hearing funny stories, so let me also retaliate. And it takes a whole lot of maturity for someone to be able to live with the idea that some people that don't know me believe the worst about me and then be comfortable with the fact that only the few who know me know the truth about the situation. But we must get to that point because I see many quarrels, marriage-related challenges happen to celebrities. and one person throws the attack, in trying to defend yourself, you turn it into a rough pig fight. And the issues you create, you cannot undo. So many celebrity marriages, you hear funny stories on, and I know in my past, when I started with one lie, and the other person is trying to prove that this person is lying. Let me show you what happened. He's a 1 minute guy. He's a 2 seconds guy. He did this one. The car that you are seeing, I'm the one that bought it. The house that we were living, it gets dirty, and you cannot undo the damage. So it might feel like I am swallowing a whole lot of things, but we must begin to develop the maturity. If you cannot take it to court, take it to court and deal with it legally. If you cannot take it to court, don't go online and start embarrassing
Okay, let me take this call. I'll come to Nima. Good morning. Are you there? I have a call from Abuja, I believe.
Yes.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you so much for your topics and all that. But I'm happy. I think this defamation of character has to do with the issue of Johnny Depp and then Amber Heard, and then there are some that you get to hear too, but they are not in the public space. I make bold to say that in my lifetime, seeing something like this happen, the table turning, as in somebody like Johnny Depp, that everybody sees as a very dark man, it happened in America, not in Nigeria. In Nigeria, they would have said that maybe they bribed the jury or they bribed the judge and all that. But in our lifetime, we are seeing a case in the United States, people who said high standards, a man winning a case against a woman, and then the woman has to pay the man. I mean, it's just something that I was so happy about, because I keep arguing this case that Johnny Depp is just an actor. You see him doing that side. He's a very good man. There's something I read about him. I saw a video about him on about when he was selling gas at the filling station. And he said, I'm still this Johnny Depp that was selling gas at that time. So now that money just reveals who we really are. Money does not really change us. I'm telling you, a lot of things are happening. Men are going through a lot of things that they cannot come out and talk about.
Yeah.
They can't come out and talk about. I'm telling you the truth. Men cannot come out. They will tell you, I posted something on your page yesterday that they will tell you to man up. Man up. Man up to what? Man up to what? I mean, I don't understand.
Thank you very much, Olubunmi.
Clap the man, big up the man and all that.
Thank you very much, Olubunmi. Yes, Nima.
Okay, so if it goes to, just as I said earlier, if it goes, the damage goes too deep, the only redress is to come out. So you might not necessarily be going to court because you want to get monetary compensation, but you're going to court to reestablish the truth of what happened, to put that person to test. You know, when people say things to during press briefing, and then, you know, Nigerian style, it's a 2 minutes man, you go back, that's dirty. So you go to court and say, you said so, and so, prove it. If you cannot prove it, this is what I'm asking the court. So if you have more evidence, you simply come. I think for defamation, the best defense is justification, to say, okay, these are the evidences I have.
Oh.
And so
go ahead.
Okay, so for Amber, whatever she could have done was, you know, bring it, and she couldn't. And because Johnny Depp is somebody that, you know, feeds on the image of his publicity and all of that, it's important that that's the way to go.
I just got a message from the person that I talked about. Okay. He said, hi, Muriel, thanks for sharing my story. I never went back to my wife. We actually ended up divorcing. But I support her in whatever she does today. So I guess he never went back to her. They divorced here.
Traditionally here, what we do is that, you know, there are several things they say. Our mothers will say, there's a... That's if you know, some people say it. You don't have to say it in English. No. So if you are in a marriage, it's usually toxic when men start to say, my wife is bad, my wife's head is down, she's bad. You know, a woman usually, because it's a patriarchy, women are usually silenced during those kind of things. So what we see in Amber Rose, and more when I see it here, is the other way around. Yes. The woman, when she talks too much, that's how women talk. You talk too much. So you now be silenced, and you know your truth because you live inside your house. I've handled the case before successfully with divorce the couple because
let's not switch.
No, I'm not switching. No, I'm not switching. I'm bringing it home.
Of women,
what I see more, what I see more is what I'm saying.
Yes.
And in fact, this case, when the man does something to the woman, before she gets to her parents, he is at her parents saying, I don't know how you raised her. She's not like you guys at all. Wow, such a terrible human being.
Manipulative.
And very manipulative. And the father of the girl will be like, why are you like this? Why are you disgracing us?
Why are you different?
And so she couldn't get her truth out for long. So when she cried, she kept coming, I need to divorce this person. That's the only way I can say my truth. Eventually, it happened. And then we started hearing, okay, maybe I wasn't really true. Maybe the other time, maybe that time was at the court.
Nima, the reason why I don't want us to flip this, I hear you, we hear this kind of stories. I don't want to flip it because men are raised to console their emotions. So they are hurt, right? They are hurt that you're lying. They are hurt that you're defaming them. But they say, I am a man. I can handle this. I can still hold this thing. Let me not, So because of that, I want us to address it. A lot of men are not speaking their truth because they want to be man enough to handle it. But the truth is that the women are lying against them. That's the problem.
Women lie. Women lie a lot.
Yes.
But men lie a lot too.
A lot. But let's
see, Morayo, with this case,
let's not flip it. Let's stay on this lane today.
There was a story that I heard. Because I don't want to let them know the person I'm talking about is a story, Sha. The fight was ongoing. They're always fighting with each other. We know that the fight is going on, but we did not know who was beating who until somebody now wanted to go and settle the fight and close the door. It's the woman that was shouting, "Wapamileni," and is the one punching. So everybody is hearing Wapamileni and thinking that it's the woman that is being beaten. But her voice is the loudest, but she's the one beating the man. And no man would come outside and say that was what was happening. So everybody just assumed and started attacking like it's
Let me pause you for a second. I have to go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing defamation of character, especially when it comes to families and relationships. You were going to say something.
Okay, I was going to land the point that, whether it's across one gender or not, what is important is that both of you, when you're married, you have to have the maturity of discretion. Not every matter you put response to. And not every matter as it is happening, as it is boiling hot, that you talk. Because sometimes you just might want to gain argument, and so you add small salt, join the small thing while you're in pain. It happens when you're in pain. Just so that you just sugar small, so that you have more of your side out there. And you might be going too far. This thing called fighting, vengeance is a double-edged sword. Yeah. When you are cutting, be careful. They are not cutting both ways.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I don't want us to always... Anyway, we are Nigerians, so we know that it's not every case that gets... it's not every side that gets judgment is the right side. Not every side. Because sometimes the justice system will work based on the evidence, your ability to prove your case. That's why you have lawyers who will defend and speak all the English. If peradventure the lawyer on the right side is not strong enough to hold,
English is better.
You can lose that case. So I don't want us to think, because he got this case now, maybe he was telling the truth and the other person, it could have been both ways. Reading up their story, I just started realizing that they had a pattern of abuse that was going on from time to time. And some of their friends could, corroborate the issues. This one got injured today. That one got injured. Other people said it was a mutual abuse. Other people said if one person is defending herself or himself, it's no longer mutual. You're just working on defense. So, cases like this is just the only people who can say what really happened between them. It's those two people involved. And that's why they say when you're choosing a partner, choose somebody who has the milk of human kindness. Choose somebody who can at least say the truth. We had, there was a case, I don't know if we took it on this set, where a man was lied against by his own 3 daughters. Their mother was living abroad. They wanted to stay abroad. So they lied to their mother that their father was sleeping with them. And this woman ran crazy. The marriage crumbled, everything. This man was drained to the last, only for these silly girls to confess after a few years that they actually lied on their father because they wanted to move abroad.
I read that story.
In that kind of case, who do you begin to forgive? Who can the father forgive his children? How do you rebuild the reputation of the man? Do you know what incest is? It's deep. It's difficult to come out of it. How many people who heard the first story would have heard the second story? Some people would have died with that story that you told in the first place. So if you can I don't know, because everybody pretends. When you're dating in a relationship, we always put your best foot forward. TDJ says you come with your representative. That's not the real you. Till you now get into the marriage, and then your representative now goes home and you now see the real you. But we can begin to notice some red flags about certain people. And one thing I tell young people also is, watch how this person treats other people who are beneath him or her. How he talks to his drivers, how he talks to his cooks, how he talks to people around him. That will tell you how he will talk to you tomorrow when the love finally fails.
Okay, we're going to wrap up on this because I want to talk any final words on this. I have to wrap up.
Reiterating my point and reminding everybody that we shouldn't speak when our emotions are high.
Yeah.
And you should never, ever throw something outside that you will regret back in later in the future. Think about the entirety of your family, your children, and all of that. If for any reason you are pushed to the wall by the defamation, take the legal process as a way to address the wrong.
Let me take this call from Ade. Ade, are you there?
Yeah, good morning,
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Can you please wish our queen happy Platinum Jubilee today?
Oh, your queen. Oh, okay. We spoke about it, I think, during the banter, I believe.
Yes, newspaper review.
During paper review, we mentioned it. Congratulations to your queen.
The lady 70 years on the throne.
Yeah.
It's your own pride as well. I want to thank Morayo for our comment today. In fact, I'm so happy because for the first time you're on the side of men that all their lies, that they lie a lot about we men. So I support, for that purpose, on your 10th anniversary in Dubai. God bless you.
Amen. You don't send you ticket.
So let's take a few messages. Somebody said that, yes, I lied against my husband. And the reason why I lied is because I never wanted the marriage in the first place. After 3 kids, I was done with the marriage, but I wanted to leave. But he wouldn't give me a divorce. So I lied to our parents, and they allowed me to leave. So some women are saying that this is the reason why they left. These are interesting.
Are you saying that after 3 kids, you don't mature?
After 3 kids, the woman can say, you know, I'm done. Because sometimes, let's even go there. Because some of us marry for that, you want that,
and then you want to
settle down.
Yes.
You want to settle down with society, saying, oh, now she's married, she's okay. So you now have your 3 children. You're like, I never really loved this guy.
Yeah.
And then you say, I want to move on. But all the factors are aligned for you to stay.
So
He's a good guy. So you now have to demonize the guy. I say, you know what, I'm done with this.
God, honestly, I am.
Because when you mature, you simply, as you walk in with your full consent, you walk out with your full consent, you don't have to say anything. You know, you can actually walk out without explaining.
Yeah, sure.
I say, I'm done.
I'm done. And see what happened. We ask her, Taya, she not talk anything. It's better than you now look at somebody innocent.
Lie.
You paint him black, paint him red, you paint him black, you paint him red all over.
How come one nature the person?
And the person where you live bought 3 children for. What for you?
That's all we can take. One wrap up?
No, I just want to say that these things have a way of coming back to us.
Yeah.
Their seeds, anything you do, how you act, how you treat people, it will always find its way back. And may not find its way back when you are helpless. Nobody can stand up for you. We should always remember that in dealing with one another.
I think that's all we can take on this segment. When we return, move on to another hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.